Umatilla County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everybody. We have a crowded agenda and a crowded room, so we'll get right to it this morning. The one thing I want to start with before I read this letter of commendation is I want to remind everyone that this Friday is Veterans Day across the country. In the U.S., 18.5 million veterans live here, and that's 7.2%. In Oregon, it's actually 8% of our population is veterans, and that's about 317,000. In Umatilla County, there's only just under 4.7% veterans, which represent about 3,500. Each and every one of those made a commitment to volunteer to serve our country. So I think that it's really appropriate that we all find that moment on Friday, however you do it. There's breakfasts, there's lunches, there's dinners, or just take the time to call and have a conversation with a veteran. I don't think it gets enough recognition for what they represent to us. So I just wanted to say that before the meeting started today. So thank you guys. I also have a commendation letter. Please join me in congratulating Dispatcher Kylie Peck for her outstanding service for the quarter starting July 1, 2023 and ending September 30th, 2023. She is being celebrated as the Dispatcher of the third quarter and will be in the running for the Dispatcher of the Year award also. This is the second time this year that Kylie has been a recipient of Dispatcher of the Quarter. Well deserved. So congratulations, Kylie, from Captain Primer. So the way I figure it, if she's been nominated twice and there's 4 quarters, she's looking really, really good. If you're gonna make a bet, that may be the way to go. I also like to remind everyone that this is a recorded meeting. It's online and can be attended virtually. And remind also, if you have public comments on any item that isn't on the agenda today, to please come to the podium, state your name and your address, and limit your comments to 2 minutes. With that said, we'll move into business unless there's other correspondence or recognitions from the other commissioners.
I have recognition.
Perfect.
So this is from Alicia Lundgren, and is Corey Hibbard here? Oh, come on down.
Price is right.
All kinds of gambling going on today.
Oh, okay,
How are
you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You're gonna get embarrassed here.
Yeah,
Are you
probably.
ready?
Yep,
Okay.
yep, ready.
My glasses on. Okay. Corey has been a public health nurse with UCO Health for over 4.5 years. She is a home visiting nurse with the Nurse Family Partnership Program. She has served over 50 clients and provided over 630 visits during her time at UCO Health. NFP has been working over the last year to recruit and serve more clients as the program has returned to full scope of services since adjustments during the COVID-19 pandemic. With increased outreach efforts, more referrals began coming in, and she's always said yes to any referral, no matter how close to caseload she is getting. Although through this, Corey has reached her 80% caseload goal and is on track to be a full caseload in December. This is the first time Corey has had an opportunity to carry a full caseload. NFP, as a program at UCO Health, has only had the program at full caseload one other time since the program started in 2012. At the same time, the NFP nurses are in training to implement a new therapeutic communication modality called FAN, Facilitating Attuned Interactions. This is an 8-month training program as a team, and the model calls for a home visit nurse to champion implementation. Corey volunteered to be the FAN champion for our team and has willingly taken on additional responsibilities and time commitments to make this possible. Corey is also known for being willing to help in any way at UCO Health and has participated in several vaccination clinics over the years. Every day, Corey brings a positive attitude and passion for helping new moms in Umatilla County. She is always willing to be present for her clients. The NFP team and UCO Health as a whole. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And Corey,
Congratulations.
you've received your coin, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yep, yeah. Thank you.
You don't get to give them back, I'll take them. All right, let's get into,
No.
oh, you have another one?
Mike, is Mike here? Mike Johnston? Okay. Mike is a person who is very committed to his work, an example of punctuality and enthusiasm. He always does his best to maintain a pleasant work environment for all of us who work with him. He is an example of a good coworker. Mike joined UCO Health during the COVID pandemic response and has been an asset to the team for everything from contact tracing to helping set up and manage traffic flow at vaccination events. He is always the first person to volunteer and collaborate with any program in the department that requires help. We see that when he passes the street and he sees some garbage, he picks it up and places it in a garbage can. He is an example of a good citizen. Most recently, Mike has been leading outreach activities with Salvation Army and helping to ensure that those who are most in need are given opportunities to access disease testing. Mike always gets involved in outreach activities and gives his best, with a smile and being kind. When a new person joins the team, he is the first to welcome for this person and share all of his knowledge. He is an example of a good person. He is respectful, kind, gentle, and professional with the people we serve in the program and is concerned with providing tools to help walk toward healthier communities every day. Congratulations, Mike Johnson. One more? Is Mike here? Okay. Mike Stenstrud, is that right? Mike Stenstrud. Mike is UCO Health's epidemiologist and is responsible for the CD dashboard available on our website and created and updates our domestic drinking water mapping. Most recently, Mike volunteered to be the mascot, Jeremy, in the dress-up parade during Roundup. It was a warm day, but it meant a lot to the communicable disease program and to UCO Health. The community was able to appreciate and receive a clear message that disease prevention, and it was a successful connection with the public. Multiple staff overheard instances of parents reiterating the hand washing message with their children as he walked by. His effort that day, which included a great physical effort, really demonstrated Mike's commitment to his work, his department, and his community. And Mike has received his coin. Thank you, Mike.
Anything else?
I know he was a big hit at the parade, by
Was
the
he?
way. He
Yeah.
was huge. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Nope.
Real quick, we had our ground for the Central Water Project last week, and I want to thank Lori for all of her efforts that she put into that, as well as our IT department, specifically Riley and Nick. They did an outstanding job, and our maintenance guys setting everything up. So I just want to thank you all for the effort you put in. So.
Any public input or comments? All right, let's move right into the agenda for today. The first item is a district annexation, and this is going to be addressed by Doug?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
What's coming before the board is, first off, a public hearing. This is for a petition that was received for annexation of property into the Umatilla County Fire District Number 1. The property owner that wants to be annexed in is the Columbia Development Authority, and this is the property formerly known as the Army Depot. The petition was signed by all the property owners that would be annexed in, and has also been endorsed by the district board. So as a result, it can be accelerated, the decision. I don't need an election, And so all we need before the board is to have a public hearing and then proceed, if you want to approve the annexation.
Perfect. So at this time, I will close and open public hearing on BCC 2023-044, the annexation of the CDA into the fire district. So at this time, I take any comment in favor of the resolution or the order.
Good morning, Commissioners. Scott Stanton, Fire Chief, Fire District 1, Hermiston 320 South, 1st Street, Hermiston, Oregon. Yeah, was approached by the Columbia Development Authority Board in conversations about annexing the district into the district. It's about 5,600 acres. Obviously, having annexed into the district provides for fire protection, which also helps for economic development out there. That way, when these businesses look at it, they know they have protection coming. We have a station about 2 miles away or a mile and a half away on Westland Road, right there to the boundary line, either through a BRAC contract or mutual aid when it was still a federal installation. You know, we have been providing service to that continuously. So there's no really change for us. Obviously, it was endorsed by resolution by my board of directors, and obviously I'm here to speak in favor of the annexation.
Thanks, Chief. Any questions or comments?
I will make a comment as the CDA board rep. I know I talked with Debbie Pedro this morning, and unfortunately her and Greg Smith, our executive director, were both unable to be here today, but on behalf of CDA, we are excited to have this partnership with Fire District 1.
We are too.
And not only that, but it's going to severely reduce our insurance liability costs
Yes.
to have you on board. And I look forward to working with you in that capacity as well, Chief.
You bet. We are too. Thank you.
Any comments or Commissioner comments?
No, I think the only thing that I have to say is I am always amazed at what you're up to. Every time.
So
I mean,
am I.
don't you feel that way? They're amazing. And in fact, I was telling Chief Stanton the other day that I just by chance sat down and had lunch with the president of their board of directors. And very insightful, and just by chance meeting, but very, very impressed with everything that you do.
Very active board. At this time, any public comment in opposition of BCC Order 2023-44? Seeing none, any neutral comment? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. And what are the wishes of the commission?
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion that we adopt BCC, right there, BCC 2023-044.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is surveyor fees. Dave? Doug?
I'll start it off.
Okay.
What's coming before the board is an amendment to the Umatilla County Code of Ordinances fee ordinance. Specifically, in this case, there are 3 proposed changes from the surveyor for the surveyor section of the fees. First off, you will need to have a public hearing on it and then set it for a second reading probably in December.
Perfect. Thanks, Doug. At this time, I close the commission meeting, open a public hearing on the surveyor fee amendment. All those wishing to speak in favor of the surveyor amendment, please approach the podium.
I'm Dave Crumlin, the county surveyor. The only one left in the department. No, that's not quite true. Tom's chased the rest of the people out of the building practically. That's another story. Anyway, yeah, 4 years ago, if you remember, we made a drastic change in the fees. And I thought, well, maybe we ought to not do that big drastic thing every 10 years, maybe every 3 or 4 years, come in and just move it up a little bit to kind of keep pace with things. And so that's what I've done. I've raised the fees. And I apologize, I didn't even bring a copy of it with me, but I raised the fees in some of the areas just somewhat. From, for instance, a partition plat review fee to my office goes from $400 to $500. It's 20% increase. Then the subdivision fee goes from $500 to $700, which is $750 plus $50 per lot. So the $50 per lot part doesn't change, but we've raised the first part to $750, which is the same fee for all the properties or the whole thing. So the big subdivisions are not gonna affect too much because they pay the $50 per lot, and when you get into 40, 50 lots, that's where the money is in the fee of application. And then the property line adjustment review fee, that's gone up 50% because it's a pain in the neck, to be honest with you, the property line adjustments. These people are coming in with all these, moving this line and this line and this line around. And it takes quite a bit of time to review the legal descriptions, make sure they're correct. And if they have a survey with it, make sure the survey matches the legal descriptions. And then when they change it, of course, then back to reviewing it again. So those are the three things I wanted up this year, and I think every 2 years so that they should be reviewed and moved up a little bit. So, any questions?
No, Dave, and thank you. I did do just a little bit of research, not extensive, but they seem to be very much in line, except for the property line adjustments. Different counties, obviously, but in Washington and Oregon, I think I probably looked at 30 of them, and this still stays the least amount, but there's everywhere up to $2,500.
Yeah, well, depends, because a lot of, some survey offices will actually go out and check the survey. Well, the survey on a property line adjustment, I mean, I have a lot of confidence in the surveyors we deal with around here. And I think that's the issue with some of the other county surveyors, don't have that confidence with the surveyors.
Nope, I think it's more reasonable, and if you're comfortable with it.
But actually, the subdivision fees we charge are down on the low end. If you want to really get shot, go to Clackamas County and see what their fees are.
You don't have to go that far. That's for sure.
All right, any other questions?
Nope, I remember 4 years ago, so.
Yeah,
I'm okay with the little increases here and there.
yeah, I think that's gonna be much more compatible. I mean, people are gonna complain anyway, but that's gonna happen. So there's a second hearing on it then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, thank you.
Any other comment and support? Open the floor to any comment opposing the land survey amendment, cost amendments. Any neutral? At this time, we'll close the public hearing and set a date for the next,
December 6th.
December 6th. Thank you. And so this item will be on the agenda for December 6th.
Yeah, can you make a motion and adopt it, yes?
Mr. Chair, I move that we set the second reading for this on December 2nd, 2023.
Sixth. I said
Sixth.
Six.
After 5,
Let me
6.
do this.
So December 6th of 2023.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item is economic development grants. I think Community Development Director Robert.
Good morning, Commissioners. As Dan said, Bob Walder, Community Development Director. So our Community and Economic Development Grant Committee met back in October to review a total of 11 grants that were received for our Community Economic Development program for this cycle. And they're recommending approval of funding for 9 of those grants, and the total will be $104,000.
And thanks, Bob. Being part of that committee and a follow-up meeting that we had with Robert, I really appreciate all the work you put into this, establishing the committee and making this a true process, and making it available twice a year, I think is huge. And a lot of kudos to you, the committee members, and the whole structure of the process has really been nice to be involved.
Thank you.
I just sat yesterday on the Wild Horse Foundation board, and I see a lot of the similar names, and when we looked at those, that was part of the criteria we looked at. Are they going after other sources of funding?
Absolutely.
And see some of these, so.
Yeah, our committee focuses on similar things, on whether or not they're seeking out other sources to really maximize their funding opportunities. So the next cycle will be in the spring. I believe in May is the deadline for the next round.
Thanks a million, Bob. Other questions or comments? Entertain a motion?
All right. I move to approve funding recommendations for fall 2023 Community and Economic Development Grant requests for a total of $104,000.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, Bob.
Commissioners.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for the good work. Next item on the agenda is approve a comment letter sent to Oregon FSEC.
Morning, Commissioners.
State committee, yeah.
For the record, Megan Dowcheski from Community Development. Umatilla County was notified by the Oregon Department of Energy of a notice of intent for Umatilla Electric's proposed 230 kilovolt transmission line. The proposed transmission line has the name of Umatilla Morrow Connect, and it will increase the reliability and connect Umatilla Electric's grid network between Umatilla and Morrow counties, in addition to serving the growing industrial needs in that area. Because of the size of the proposed transmission line and due to the fact that it's going to be a multi-jurisdictional project, the project falls within the jurisdiction of the Energy Facility Site Council, or FSEC. The Board of Commissioners is identified as the special advisory group for both ODO and the FSEC project approval process. And the commissioners are tasked with identifying all local applicable substantive criteria that would apply to the project if the county were approving it at the local level. The proposed line is located largely within the Columbia Development Authority at the former Army Depot and is primarily zoned depot industrial. However, the project site boundary does include some of the exclusive farms use zone. Community development staff have prepared a response to the notice of intent and are requesting that the board authorize the chair to sign the letter, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
The only question I have is for Doug. If we're acting as the SEG, do we have to go out of commission and come in as the
No, this
SEG?
isn't a land use decision, it's just
Okay.
board
Thank you.
action.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of comment letter to be sent to Oregon FSEC and for the chair to sign.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Public Works, looking for an authorization to purchase a 672 GP model road grader.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Fellows, Public Works Director. So before the board today is the purchase of a road grader for the Public Works Department. This would be a replacement for one of our older machines that we're going to be surplusing out. This was also budgeted for in this budget year, so we have the funding to do it. The timing of this is probably a little sooner than we had expected, but we found out that actually November 1, John Deere is taking a 3% increase in pricing, so we elected to get the quote written before then so that we could take advantage of that essentially $15,000 savings. And the delivery time of this machine should be probably late January, early February, which will fit right in with our program as well. So the cost of this machine with the Sourcewell discount is $462,008.
Any questions or comments? The only thing I have to do is say thanks, Tom, for your diligence in spending that money wisely that you have. It's an incredible job.
We don't have telematics on this one, though. Sorry.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but I know the next one will have, so.
Did they reach out to you on that 3% or?
Actually, he did. Yeah, as soon as he found out about it, the salesman shot me an email and said, "Hey, this is what's coming down the pipeline," and wanted to know if because he also knew that we were going to be purchasing another grader this year, and so he appreciates our business.
I would appreciate him reaching out.
I'm gonna say Ralphie just came from a sales meeting where he got the heads up.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Chair, I
Tom.
move authorize purchase of a 672 GP motor grader from Pape Machinery for the amount of $462,008.
Second.
Thank you. There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Yes, thanks, Tom.
You can do the next item.
Next.
That's you.
Everybody's happy about this one. Next item is the approval to agreement with the city of Umatilla to turn over all of the cities, or all of the county roads and public access into the city of Umatilla
Yes.
for a cost.
Yes. The city has approached the county with wanting to get jurisdiction of any of the county roads left in the city. The board took action on this back in 2019, I believe, offering this. The city's now just sort of taking up the county on that offer. But included in this is the jurisdictions, if any, the county has over public roads that are listed in the agreement. And then in addition, the county would be paying the city $200,000. And the matter is before the board to approve the agreement and authorize the expenditure.
Question or comments? I know we've had a lot of discussion. It should be noted that we have had a lot of discussion on this item, for
The
sure.
only question I have is, did you want to make the motion?
No, but I will, but I will. I would move to adopt or approve the agreement with the city of Umatilla regarding roads within the city.
Second.
Been a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, Doug. Next item on the agenda is the elections payable.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dan Lanai with Administrative Services. And before you is our maintenance for the OCVR system, the state's voter registration system, which is an annual amount we pay each year. It's going up a little bit. It's gone up about $700 as we're in the midst of moving to a new system, and the costs are higher with that. So it's above the $5,000. It's a planned expense, and it's needed. So.
Real quick question. The new system is being implemented by the state or by us?
It's the state. It's because it's the centralized voting system, which has everything merged together for all the counties, and so it's centralized by the state.
And I think you answered this before. This is based on our voting population.
Basically on our, and that's why one thing that's gone up is because we've increased more than some other counties, and so then we take a bigger load and
Is there a way we
share.
can get them to do it based on how many people return a ballot?
No, this is the registration. This is the registration portion, so that we still have the same amount registered.
But if we did it based on how much.
Yeah, we'd be one of the cheaper ones there, especially if it's sliding on the rate of return.
Entertain a motion, unless there's a further comment.
I'll make the motion. I move to approve the payable to the Secretary of State in the amount of $8,336 for the OCVR maintenance.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Back row now.
Yeah, it is. The next item on the agenda is a request to replace the fingerprint pump machine at the jail. Yes.
Yes. So, hello Commissioners, I'm Riley Wortman from the IT department. I'm presenting the request to replace the fingerprint scanner at the jail. It's out of date. It's a Windows 7 machine, and so the state won't allow it to connect to their system anymore. When this first happened, we did try to get it updated to Windows 10, and the company that currently has the contract on that, or that we went through before, told us that they wouldn't update that one. There's not drivers for it for Windows 10, so we had to look at purchasing a new one. We tried to reach out to several different companies to get a quote, and DataWorks is the only one that returned a response. And they're the ones that we currently have for the security machines and now civil as well. So what we're requesting is the purchase of a new fingerprint machine at $18,793.85. Do you have any questions?
Comments or questions?
No, I did look this up. I did a little research and thought, man, there must be a cheaper way to go, and there's not.
There's really not. The last machine we purchased was $25,000, so this is a little bit cheaper than our previous one.
Mr. Chair, I'd move approval to move forward with the purchase of a new fingerprint machine for $18,793.85.
Second.
Then motion and second. I do have a quick question. The warranty on this is pretty vague in this document.
It is a year's warranty.
Just 1 year's warranty for that kind of money. And then what's the yearly expense?
So after that, I believe we can continue to purchase warranties for it. Not,
What about the price for the software updates?
so that's all included, part of that warranty. I don't have the information on it. I can get it and get it back to you.
I'm kind of curious because these have a pretty long life, don't they?
Our last one, I believe, was purchased 7 years ago. So they're, as long as they're up to date and can connect to the state, as long as the state allows the operating system to connect to the state, they're pretty much running. So,
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
thank you, commissioners.
Thanks, Riley. Thanks for the information. Next item on the agenda is Sheriff's Office Vehicle Lease. Looks like Under Sheriff Littlefield drew the long straw.
Good morning, Jim Littlefield, Under Sheriff, Umatilla County. What we have on the agenda is proposing to sell a fully equipped 2019 Ford Interceptor to the city of Pilot Rock for their patrol fleet. It's been determined the value of $22,000. This would be the third vehicle we've sold to the city of Pilot Rock. It's an opportunity for us to help a partner agency obtain a fully equipped, relatively low mileage vehicle for their fleet. We sold two to them last year, I believe, and so we've sold about $67,000 worth of vehicles to the city of Pilot Rock just in the 3 sales, which is made possible from our lease program. And so we'll segue into that here shortly, but we wouldn't have that opportunity if we didn't have that program in place. So we're just seeking approval. I spoke with Chief Caldera a few days ago. He said that his city council has already approved the expenditure for them, so it's just a matter of getting approval from this board.
I've seen the vehicles that they've purchased from us in the past, and their decals look good. Not as good as yours, but they look good.
No, yeah. They're really happy about getting the vehicles that they purchased from us previously, so they're wanting this one as well.
They had some pretty tired vehicles.
Yeah, they did, yeah, so, yeah.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of sale of the vehicle of the city of Pilot Rock, the amount of $22,000, and authorize chair to sign the agreement.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. I have a quick question. Do other cities still have kind of the same opportunity?
I'm sorry?
Do the other cities in the county kind of have the same opportunity?
They would. Pilot Rock's been the one that's reached out to us. We don't advertise, but they all are aware, and they would have the opportunity as well.
Okay.
Sure.
Because I drive through a town that has a fairly old rig.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're open.
Thank you. There's been a motion and then the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Don't go away. And now it is time for the UCSO, or is Josh gonna?
Yeah, Josh can present. He's
Okay.
our lead guy.
This is the vehicle lease program.
Good, thanks.
Good morning, Commissioners. Josh Roberts with the Sheriff's Office. So before you is a request to purchase vehicles through our partnership with Bancor. We're asking for 3 fully equipped Dodge Durangos that will be used in patrol. 1 Ford F-350. That one is a specialty vehicle that's going to replace one that's in search and rescue. Just Google up search and rescue, Umatilla County, and in the last 5 years you can see how vital of a role they have played in our county. This truck specifically is a rope truck, which does some really deep rescues up in the wooded areas. And their current one is over 20 years old. Now, while search and rescue takes great care of their vehicles, at some point vehicle's aged and it needs to be replaced. And so this is one that we want to replace for them so that they can continue that critical mission when people are in dire need. We also have 2 Jeep Grand Cherokees that we're going to replace for the patrol captain and one of the detectives. Their current vehicles, we're going to rotate over to transport. So their current vehicles, yes, sir.
Just to clarify, you said the list we have says 2 are going to detectives and 1 for the captain. You said 1 for the captain, 1 for the detectives?
I apologize, you're correct.
Just
Yes.
making sure.
No, I apologize. You are correct.
Thanks.
The current detective vehicle, we have one of our older Explorers that needs to be replaced, and then one of the newer Durangos that we're going to send to transport, and then the captain's current Durango will go to transport. So thank you for catching that. But our transport division right now has super high mileage stuff. They're over 100,000 miles, but they drive all over the state, including with our contract with CCS. And so these lower mileage Durangos that we currently have will be able to be used to the fullest extent in our fleet program. And these Jeeps will help get us to where we need to be for them. One Ram 1500 Tradesman, that's going to supplement our Marine ATV and patrol. We have a current patrol deputy who is Marine certified and can be called on when Deputy Hayes, our current full-time Marine deputy, is not available. He'll have the ability, Deputy McMasters is the trained one right now, he'll have the ability with this truck to not only perform his patrol functions, but also be able to go out on the water when the need arises. And then a GMC Sierra pickup to replace the sheriff's that he's currently driving. I think it's important to note that this is the first year in our lease program where we are fully implemented on the rotation program. We started this in 2020, and as of this year, the first set of vehicles that we leased back in 2020 are falling off the roll as far as the lease. And so that program in 2020, our lease payment was $129,087.66. That was our annual payment for those vehicles. So that $129,000 is going to fall off this year. Our current request is for $177,394.79. That's a difference of about $48,000. And that's one of the key things that I like about this program is the stabilization of the budget. So as the ones that we buy today fall off in years to follow, our new orders then roll in. And so the actual impact to the budget is not as drastic. If we bought these vehicles today and paid cash as we did before the lease program, we'd be paying over $500,000. And so the impact to the budget right now is only $48,000, if that makes sense. The partnership with Bancorp is also important, and this is just for public knowledge. It's really important because, number one, we get buying power. If we were to buy these vehicles independently as a county, a lot of people don't know that when factories take in orders, they prioritize those orders. And a lot of times, volume is what determines who gets the first pick. And so large dealerships, large entities, large banks get first pick because they order hundreds and hundreds of cars at a time. Whereas if we were to order 6 cars, we're going to be knocked down low on the list. And so I think one of the biggest benefits that we get is we're partnering with Bancorp and we're using their buying power to ensure that our orders aren't going to get canceled. The UAW just had a strike, and thank goodness it just ended, but that's putting orders behind already for 2024. And so by partnering with them, we're getting a pretty good assurance that our vehicles are going to be ready and built as needed. We also get a network of sellers. So Bancorp partners with auction companies. Specifically, one of their auction companies will actually decommission the cars for us. And that's a huge benefit for us. We can send the car to them with stickers and lights and everything on it. And this company only charges 1% of the sales price to take all that equipment out. We can save whatever we want to save out of it. So all of our proprietary equipment, like our radios and camera systems, MDTs, things like that, will be saved. and then they take care of all the other equipment. And we've had this happen, is they reach out to police agencies around the country. I know one of our prior vehicles was sold to a small department in Florida, just like we do with Pilot Rock. They're a small agency, and so they've got a turnkey vehicle as well. So if they can sell to police departments, that's our hope. So far, a lot of our cars have been so high mileage, they haven't been able to do that. But we're getting into that point in our rotation where I think that we really can not only reap the reward ourselves financially, but also give back to those smaller communities who can't afford, to get the equipment that they need. So I would stand for questions, but the request is to approve the lease program as stated for the 4 years.
Questions, comments?
How many rigs are you getting rid of this year?
We have earmarked, at last count, I believe it was 10 vehicles. I think I added one, from the last conversations that we had, I think I added one to it because we're getting this Marine pickup. The one that Deputy Hayes is currently driving is going to be able to be rolled out. We've got some reallocations internally with some stuff there as well. And so I want to say that there are 10 vehicles that we're looking to roll out. Not necessarily all at once, because we have to wait for these orders to come in before we can take them out of service, and we got to make sure that we have equipment pulled out to put in the new ones. And so I wish I could sell them all at the same time, but I have earmarked at least 10 vehicles to be sent out in the next year.
I have a question. Somewhere in my travels, there's lease fees on this?
Yes.
Okay, like $68,000 in lease fees?
So the lease fee is based on an amortized schedule, and so it's based on the purchase price and what's attached to the lease and all that. It's roughly about 5.3% is what I'm being told by Bancorp. I talked to my rep Bob Hugo at Bancorp yesterday about this. In 2020, one of the vehicles that we purchased for, I think it was $61,000 was the total price. That came out to roughly $3,600 in lease fees total for the life of the lease, so about $75 a month at $61,000. And that was at that time. The F-350 is a little bit higher than that, the proposed one. It's coming in at about, I think, $150 a month in lease fees. And that's because of the rise in inflation and the increased cost in equipment and the total price and all that. But depending on the cost of the vehicle, it's going to be somewhere between 75 and let's say 150, 175. Again, depending on the cost of the vehicle, is about what it costs per month.
Is Bancorp the only company that you can deal with?
Bancorp is not the only company that we can deal with, but as we've done our research and stuff, they have been the best fit for us. They fit our need in terms of procuring vehicles. They fit our need for selling vehicles. We did look at Enterprise because I know the county matches with Enterprise. The issue with Enterprise is there's several issues when it relates to the sheriff's office on how it doesn't fit our needs. The big one is that they do not sell upfit vehicles, and so we have to strip everything out of any of the cars that we have to be able for them to sell the cars. And then we're on the hook to figure out what to do with all this equipment. And most of the equipment does not transfer from model year to model year. Sometimes it does, but it seems like every year, every other year, they change the design of the car just enough that you can't take, say, cages or consoles and slap them into another car because they don't fit, because the manufacturers have changed. So that's one of the benefits of Bancorp, is that they can help us, dispose of or reuse that equipment as needed. Another area that for in terms of the resale is that if we have to take cars, everything out of the cars, they're already devalued. We drill holes in ours. We put things on ours that people in the retail land don't do to their cars, and so we just don't feel like we're going to get the same resale through Enterprise as we would through Bancorp. And then On top of that, Enterprise charges a monthly fee of some kind. They have a program fee, they have a maintenance fee, and there's one other fee in there, if I remember offhand. And that monthly fee is paid out over the life of however long you own the vehicle, or you have possession of the vehicle. We keep, as I said, the F-350 is a long-term asset. I anticipate that we're going to keep that one for probably 10 years, maybe more, like I said, because they take great care of their vehicles. And so if we save that vehicle in our fleet for 10 years, we continue to pay a monthly fee every month to Enterprise. Whereas at the end of 4 years, we own that vehicle outright. There are no ongoing fees with that. And so that's...
Let me follow up on Cindy's question. Did you go out to bid?
No.
I was just gonna ask that. That was my next question. So you didn't get any other bids, just Bancorp?
No, back when we got on this, I discussed with the commission at that time, and possibly even Doug, whether or not we needed to. And because of how the program is set up, we did not have to go out for bid. We did look around at various options, but
Price financing, is that how that, yeah.
yeah. So there's no state contract price anymore. That's the other thing that went away.
Yeah, but that's
How we got here, but we still didn't go out to bid.
So at the time, I was told we didn't need to go out for bid, and we had the discussions about the program back then, and it fit our need, and that's how we came to be where we are today.
Doug, how come they don't need to be
Right now, we have a current contract with them.
with Bancorp?
That's 3 years old, 4 years old?
4.
Since 2020?
Yes.
Definitely time to probably go out to bid in the future, for sure.
Okay.
The other question I have is, what's the total number of road vehicles that you guys have?
Oh goodness, I wasn't prepared with that question. Give me a second, I can find that out, because I do have it at my fingertips, but let's see.
While he's searching for that, Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we approve the vehicle, make the motion to approve a vehicle and equipment purchase through a lease with Bancorp. The total cost for all vehicles will be $177,394.79 annually for the next 4 years.
I'll second it. Still in question, I don't know if you found the number, but
So my question, I guess, is are you wanting just patrol, or are you wanting road vehicles? So we currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, just as a quick rough count, about 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, have you received all of the vehicles from 22 and 23 orders?
We have received 22 and 23. Believe it or not, we're getting our last vehicle from 21 probably in the next week. So that's a whole nother conversation about one of our upfitters that we've moved away from. But it's taken them over 2 years to get. We ordered 8 vehicles, and we're getting the last one probably here in the next week.
Is that a local upfitter?
Yeah, it was. It's no longer. That was ERS. Yeah. So
They're in Boise area?
Nampa. Yeah.
We have an office in Bend too, right?
I don't know if they have it anymore. They've had some issues internally. So.
Okay. We have a motion. Any other comments?
Yeah, I'm gonna comment. I think it's very important you have good equipment, don't get me wrong here. If I were you, I would've went back to Bancorp and asked them to sharpen their pencil on that $68,000 in lease fees. I mean, you have a contract with them. And they're definitely making them money. So I just think that's wrong to ask the taxpayer to pay that. And so, yeah, no.
I think all comments will be taken in consideration before they order cars again. For sure. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes 2-1. Commissioner Timmons opposed. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a community corrections payable.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dale Primer, Director of Community Corrections. I think most of you guys know through Budget Committee that Community Corrections has a contract with the sheriff for sanctioned beds. That contract is a fairly low daily rate, and it comes with an agreement that in the event that there's a medical expense that's incurred for somebody that we're holding on one of our beds, that we incur that cost. So that's the case here. We had a person that was being held in jail on one of our sanctioned beds pending a court hearing for a probation revocation that incurred some medical needs, was transported to the hospital. We then become liable for that bill of $15,579. I don't think there's any HIPAA information in here, is there, Doug? We're not, there's no
Not
names.
so far you haven't, no.
There's no names on anything that's in the public record. Anyway, so we have people occasionally in jail that don't like to be in jail, and they figure if they do things to themselves and cause the county to incur a medical expense, we might release them. So this person decided to swallow a comb and had to be transported and get it fished out of him.
It's safe to say it was not mine.
So, as an aside to that, I know you guys also have your own legislative group. How this is not a crime to purposely inflict damage to yourself, to cause the county damage and civil liabilities for behaviors that you purposely do inside. I don't know how we don't have a disorderly conduct in a correctional setting kind of thing where a person could be criminally liable for this as well as civilly liable, where we could claw these funds back, but it is what it is for now.
Are they on I mean, they're on camera all the time, right?
I don't think they are in their cell, are they?
Most of the time. There's certain areas that you can't have them on camera for privacy reasons, but for the majority of the time they are, yeah.
Sure, so if they're laying in the cell in bed, are they on camera? I guess my question is, are they being watched? I mean, how long would it take to do something like that?
Don't know, I've never done it.
No, but, it's not something you can do in 15 seconds. I'm with you. This is just amazing.
Yeah,
Between towels and combs. I mean,
100%. Yeah, this is not the first time I've been here for this. Towels, combs,
Straws, spoons.
Edible spoons now, yeah.
spoons, sporks, I don't know.
Edible straws.
I don't know.
They're edible combs now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So yeah, it's not what I like to come here to ask money to spend on, but nonetheless, that's the bill I've got before me.
I think we empathize with your emotions on this one 100%. If there's a way for us to start that conversation at AOC, I know the guy to do it.
Yeah, we certainly will.
Yeah. And I appreciate St. Anthony's for giving us a discount.
Yeah.
It's nice of them to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
You need a motion?
Yes, I move to approve the payable to St. Anthony Hospital in the amount of $15,579.92.
I hesitantly second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
You're not voting, Dale.
It comes from the maintenance department.
If you need coffee, we have some in the commissioner's office. I know you didn't have any, so.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dan Lanai with Director of Administrative Services, and filling in for Mark. His mother passed away this Monday and stuff. Had a stroke last week, so he's been out for a little bit. We'll be back next week. So before you is going out for a bid for painting the Justice Center and the Juvenile Building. There, the exterior paint is in bad shape, needs to be maintained and stuff before things get worse and stuff. So,
Comments?
Just a procedural question for Doug. Do we need 2 motions on this?
I couldn't tell if we plan to do one of the contracts.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
The way it was presented to me is it'd be 2 separate.
Okay, thank you.
Dan, is the RFP for both buildings or for one building?
Well, it says authorized request for issuance of RFP, and they're labeled separately here. And they can, I mean, it could be one more RFP and worded that you can bid for both or one, correct? Is that what we're?
Well,
Or is it
if
just
we do
easier
it
to
for-
do two RFPs? Yeah.
If we did
Presented it,
one
it was-
sweeping one, then they'd have to bid on both projects. If maybe they only want to bid on one.
That's part of the problem is some may not be big enough to do, the juvenile center is a lot smaller versus the justice center. So some may not have the equipment or the manpower to do both.
Got it.
Cindy? Question?
No.
My question is this on the list of facility maintenance and
Yeah,
upgrades?
the painting and stuff is on part of the list of paint and fix the
The
exteriors.
stuff you sent us, the list you sent us.
Well, I would move to authorize issuance of an RFP for the Justice Center exterior for painting purposes. Parts right there.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, I move to authorize issuance of requests for proposals for painting of juvenile facility exterior.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioners. There's a few more on here, so.
Just a few.
The next is for the lighting for the remodel out, remodeling and taking the community corrections section and now making it the new DA's office, all the lighting in there. We had the changes. And that's for Double S Electric for $7,622.19.
Quick question. Did this go out to bid? Or is this just a
Well,
contract
it's-
because they worked on something else?
It's under 10,000, so I don't think we necessarily have to do bid, but we do a bunch of.
Right, if it's above 5,000, they're supposed to get quotes if it's possible.
So you got quotes?
Well, Mark's managing the construction on that and so, or the project, so I'm assuming he's, I can't tell you if he got multiple quotes on this, to be honest with you. I mean, the work has been done.
The work's been done?
Yeah.
Okay. I move to approve a payable to Double S Electric Incorporated in the amount of $7,622.19.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The next on there is for the installation of the carpet and the cost for the installation with, I gotta think what I know his name is John, but John Custom Flooring is actually the name of the company. And this is for the first payment for it, and then there'll be a second payment as it's all completed, which it is. I think that bill might already just came in yesterday or something.
Right. The way the payable is put, or the pinky's put together, is authorizing for the total cost of the installation,
So
including.
I was gonna ask, was it for
including the
8,000?
current payable.
Not for
Yeah,
four?
it's at 8,000.
Okay, the motion should be for 8,000.
Yeah, just follow the wording would take care of it.
Again?
Oh, okay. I see how, I see what you're saying. Yep.
I don't.
It said in the first sentence, approved payment to custom flooring, including payable in the amount of
Oh,
$4,000.
including the,
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure, 8,000, that's the figure that I'm guessing, but the second payable is less than 4,000, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
I see what you did there.
so we can come back anyway. So, got it.
Well, with that, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve payment to John's Custom Flooring for installation of flooring at the Stafford Hansel Government Center, including payable in the amount of $4,000.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And then the actual cost for the flooring material itself for the DA's office there, which is $15,356.20 to Pelton Floors Incorporated.
Is that carpet or is that laminate flooring or what kind of flooring is
I
it?
think everything is carpet out there. I don't know if I didn't see any laminate put in any of those spaces when I went out there.
That question came up at our staff meeting, so I just,
Says all carpet.
okay.
I prefer if we could do the flooring, but sometimes it depends how smooth the floor is and how much work, because carpet can take more irregularities in the flooring.
As we do these, it would be great if we could have Mark bring these to us before we spend the money. Not just because we're spending money, but because also questions that we may have, like we've had on these. So.
Right.
Because, I mean, it is about 10,000, so this one really should have had a formal bid process to it.
Next one, administrative services policy.
All right, so Commissioners, before you is the Administrative Services Policy for MFA, multi-factor authentication. We are rolling out, the IT department as we speak, are rolling out we call them HADs, for hardware authentication device that Commissioner Schaefer has in his hand there. When Eric Jensen and I went down to Curry County and helped them restore their systems, we learned quite a bit over there about cyber terrorism and cyber hackers and all these different things going on. And one of the biggest things out there to help, besides training and education, there's several of them out there, but the more broad reaching is these multi-factor authentication devices, these hardware devices, what we call HADs. So if somebody's credentials are stolen, they can't get into the system unless they also have that. So multi-factor really means you have different, to get your authorization, you have to have more than one thing. So two-factor means something you know and something you have. You know your password and you have this little key, this hardware device. And it could be something you also, like text messages you get to your phone and different things. But the best and the easiest is utilizing these HADs, which do not require employees to all have cell phones. So they just have this device. And this is a policy here for that to happen. That people are signing off, that they're supposed to keep this secure, they have to do it, they have to turn them back in, and so on.
So, I don't see it on this, but I thought I saw something where there was like a replacement cost.
There is down there at the bottom there of $100. Failure to return, so that's a big one. May, so we have the word may in there, which is not shall. So there is some leeway in there. And basically, normal wear and tear is understandable, but people losing them, or the big one is when they leave work here, not returning them. And so it's open there, so we have the opportunity to change or expand on that.
And granted, I'm going back well over 20 years ago, but when I was still the sheriff's office way back when, we had a similar, we had the card, the plastic card, it's like a credit card. Well, mine quit working. And I didn't lose it, it wasn't broken, it just quit working. So they issued me a new one and charged me $20 at the time for a new one. I thought, wait a minute, why am I getting charged for that? I mean, it just quit working. But that's why I want to make sure that the employee is not going to get charged.
Yeah, failure, the way it's worded there, Commissioner, failure to return a HAD may result in an individual being charged $100 for a replacement HAD. And then with the exception of failure or due to normal wear and tear on it.
So not, that would,
Yeah, that would be normal wear and tear, it's not, yeah.
That's what I want to make sure of. So.
Other comments? Entertain a motion.
I'll just say real quick.
Another comment, Commissioner?
True, they cost about $85, these do, because they have to, we made sure that they're FIPS compatible so they can be used at the sheriff's office. Otherwise, they do not meet the CJIS requirements. And same goes with the DA's office. And, the other one I was going to say was they'll fall in line with HIPAA too. Since it's FIPS, it'll meet all the HIPAA requirements. Some of the other people don't require them, but it's easier for us just to give out all the same to everybody.
I've been using it for a couple weeks now. I think I was like the guinea pig. I think I was one of the first to get one, and I don't think it's that much of a burden to use. So I appreciate the added security, because I also know what you went through down in Curry County, so we don't want the same thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I exactly what John just said. I agree. You know what, Dan, I'll be honest, I felt really bad about serving you up on a platter to Curry County, But, you know what, really, it's been a good deal. Only that you could help them, but also for us too in security. We've had a couple of things over the last year that you've brought to everybody's attention, but I think it's been important. You know, we don't realize how important that security is until we see an example of security can be. So I really appreciate you being so proactive. So I'd like to make the motion.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Commissioner Timmons, because we were a little hesitant to going down there. It's a 9-hour drive. And even to fly, you still got to drive down into California to get back in there. So it's not an easy place to get to. But I think it was more beneficial for us than actually what we did for them, just going there. And we made some good friends and stuff too, and relations with other counties. And it's helped us a lot to know what, I think that's a big thing about collaboration and networking is very important. And was very beneficial to us.
So I move to adopt Administrative Services Policy Number AS-13.0.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner. Oh,
Did you want to take some action on item 15?
I kind of wondered about that.
We
didn't
didn't,
vote.
we didn't.
For the flooring.
Maybe we weren't
Yeah.
gonna.
Well,
After your comment. I'd entertain a motion to approve the payment to John's Custom Flooring. Is that the one?
Pelton Floors.
Or to Pendleton Floors? Let me go back. Entertain a motion to approve payable to Pendleton Floors for flooring at Stafford Hansel in the amount of $15,356.20.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
District Attorney's position.
I don't know how this is all done. I'm Kathleen Davidson, representing the District Attorney's Office. And we are requesting to double fill the Hermiston Lead Secretary's position. She is retiring after 16 years of service with the county, and she comes with a wealth of knowledge. And so we really would like to double fill that position to get the proper and adequate training. That position assists our Chief Deputy District Attorney for the office and is crucial, essential, especially when we're short attorneys and everything like that. So she can help and assist and provide general administrative assistance. That position is also helpful with the other staff and the go-to, and also helps manage that office because I can't always be there. So their role is very important. So that position, the Hermiston lead position, is a range 18. We're hoping that we could post it right away and have it filled by December 1st. That's probably wishful thinking, but we're hoping so. So it would be 2 months of that position being double filled because that position, she resigned and her last day is February 1st. So that is what we are looking for. We are looking to double fill the Hermiston Lead Legal Secretary's position. That is the formal request.
A lot of knowledge to be passed on in a short period of time.
Yes. Did I miss anything? Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the double fill of the Hermiston Lead Legal Secretary position for a total of 2 months, effective December 1st, 2023.
Okay, I'll second that. I want to make a comment. I have done that work, and let me tell you, I have nothing but respect for you. And in fact, 2 months, I know it sounds like a long time, it's not. There's a lot to learn. I'm sure that
There is.
it is amazing what all of you do. So,
Oh, well, thank you. And what you all do. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Kevin. There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I
Thank you very much,
Thank
Kevin.
you. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the purchase of a commissioner vehicle. And I can talk to it if you want me to. This is a purchase of a commissioner's vehicle. It's an electric Equinox, Chevrolet Equinox, comparable to the vehicles that we drive now. It will be paid for by an energy grant that we received in the amount of $77,000, but this authorization is not to exceed $45,000. Any other questions, comments?
I'm glad to hear you say that that came from a grant. I want to be very clear that this is not general fund dollars. What happens to the rest of that grant? Is there something we can do with
We
that?
haven't identified it yet. Maybe we might be able to use it for another vehicle, but we haven't identified that yet until we know exactly what this one costs.
You're not gonna be happy with me. I've done a lot. I've done a lot of research on this, and I'll tell you what I found out. These grants are, they're actual subsidies, they're federal subsidies, and they're subsidized so heavy, this program, this electric vehicle program is more heavily subsidized than even solar and power in the United States. I mean, there's money coming out of the woodwork for this. And also too, they talk about the carbon footprint. If you do even background history on that, so you're mining in Africa or Norway to get the components, put it on a barge, they barge it over to Japan, Japan makes the battery, put it on a barge it back to the United States where they're making the vehicle. So, there goes the carbon footprint. What do I want to say? Yeah, you can't say yep on that.
Let me make a comment to that. First of all, these batteries are made in Detroit. So
Well, still, I mean,
here's my comment on this. Is first of all, I think electric vehicles are the worst marketed program in the world. We just authorized $177,000 worth of vehicles. Neither one of you guys asked what powers them. What powers the motors? Diesel, electric, or gas? You guys didn't ask that question at
no, we
all.
did.
Electric vehicles cost less than 30 cents to operate per mile. Most efficient gas vehicle costs over 51 cents per mile. Has nothing to do with the carbon footprint, has nothing to do with climate change. It has all to do with what's the most efficient vehicle out there, at least in my situation where I drive the furthest of the commissioners back and forth to work. This will save the commission and the county over 20 cents a mile every day.
Okay. And you know what, Dan, what they do is the maintenance on these electric vehicles is minimal. I mean, it is, and that's been proven. So what the industry is doing is they're front loading those maintenance costs on the cost of these vehicles. And so I think, is it a 3-year turnaround and a 4-year turnaround on you'll have this car for about 3 years, is that right?
Probably about 90,000 miles.
Okay, before it turns on. And also too, on these batteries, what is it, 300 miles?
This one's just over 300, yeah.
Okay, so you get, 2 years into it, you're not gonna be as efficient. Just another argument, because of bottom line is, in my opinion, I think that electric cars are still a novelty. Are we headed that direction? Maybe. And what I equate it to is like computers. Remember when we all had to live through DOS? Remember that nightmare? But today, I mean, look what we've got going
While you're
today.
there, look up what the most popular selling car in America today
Well,
is.
I'm sure, but I'm just telling you
It's
my research.
not a novelty.
So I appreciate where you're going with this, but yeah, I still think it's a novelty.
So I like the fact that, one, it's grant funded, so, and I'm not sure what you mean by subsidized, so, but,
Taxpayer dollar, but go ahead.
okay, but it's not general fund dollars out of the county, right?
No, it's federal money, but go ahead.
So that, So, I mean, the money's gonna go somewhere, and this, I think, is a good test to see if an electric vehicle would work for our fleet at no cost to the general fund. So, you know, I'm kind of curious to see how well it's gonna work, or if it'll work at all. So I'm kind of curious, so I want to see how it goes. And with that, I would make
Guinea pig.
you know, I would make the motion to purchase the Chevy Equinox electric vehicle that I will not be driving in the amount not to exceed $45,000.
I'll second it. And then my comment is, I'm just amazed that this subject took as long as it did today.
So that's on me.
No,
I'm
no, not at all.
sorry,
I'm glad
but
we had it.
I have really, really done my research on this.
Yeah,
And,
I appreciate that.
I was at a show recently, and they had some electric police vehicles. And they were saying, oh, they're gonna get 500 miles on a charge, and I laughed. I said, there's no way. So I'm curious to see how well it's gonna work. We have a big county, and so.
Yep.
I'm glad you're the guinea pig.
if I see you on the side of the road, I will stop.
I have two gas vehicles I can use as bad guys. There's a motion. Did I second that?
Yeah.
Yep. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes 2-1.
You're just negative Nelly today, aren't you?
I know. Look at that. I didn't.
You know, and like I
didn't even initial
said,
this
it
one
isn't
until
like I
after it was
just
done.
took
no,
a look
it's-
at, oh, this
That's
is
why
what
there's
Dan's
3 of us.
wanted.
That's why there's 3 of us.
That's right.
Sorry.
Next item is the Measure 110 resolution. Order.
Yeah, did you want to do that one too?
Yeah. Several counties across the state, well, have addressed Oregon's voter-approved Measure 110. It has been a total failure in Oregon, I think, by any definition, with anybody in a position that has to deal with the outfall of all of the ramifications. And I think that Doug did a great job of, he'll say that he plagiarized some of it, but there's some great language in this. And I think he put together a great order for us to adopt, to become one of the counties in opposition to Measure 110. And it's still at the same time understanding that we have to find a solution to the problem. So at this time, I would move to adopt ECC 2023-045.
I will second that. And I will say that I've seen some pretty bad bills being passed. Nothing as bad as this, in my opinion. I mean, this is absolutely atrocious. And I was walking with another commissioner. We were in Portland, and he was from Maryland. And we were walking, we were at a stoplight waiting to cross. The police precinct was right next to us. On the other side was a row of tents on the sidewalk. And in front of it, all the tents were people smoking meth. And the guy looks at me and goes, oh my gosh, you're smoking meth right in front of the police station. I said, oh yes, but we've decriminalized narcotics in the state of Oregon. He looks at me and goes, you did what now? He couldn't believe it. And so, and I fully expect to see something change in the legislature in a short session. If not, I think the voters are gonna take their shot at it in November of next year, a year from now. So I'd like to be in front of this one, and I'm glad we're doing this. Thank you, Doug, for what you did on the work on this.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of conversation. I know I've been in some meetings where, and they're talking about repealing 110, and I've heard also too about maybe just tweaking 110. But either way, you know, making some serious changes. Has it been seconded? Did you second?
Yeah, I second.
John second. There's a motion on the floor and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I
Now,
think you'd be more unanimous on that one.
yeah, exactly. And I think that's what we definitely need to. Am I out of order here again?
Social retirement.
No, that's the next one.
Huh?
That's the next one.
It's new. Okay. Next item is post-retirement employment.
What's before the board is to reauthorize a number of county employees that have retired from the PERS system but continue to work for the county. Under the county policy that allows this, it requires an annual renewal. And so in this instance, we have 7 post-retirement employees that are requesting to continue employment with the county through the end of next year, 2024. And that is what's before the board for consideration. All of the managers that are impacted by this have also requested their employee continue.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of employment of PERS retirees as temporary service or special employees under the restrictions of personnel policy 4.7 with benefits and salary consistent with current position for 2024.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is budget transfers. And from what I understand, Commissioner Schaefer is going to handle these for us after Robert gives us a rundown.
Okay. Good morning, Commissioners. Robert Paul, CFO, Umatilla County. There are several appropriations transfers that are required in our budget this year that I'd like to present to you, but if I may, for the record, I would just like to say how much I appreciate the board's interaction and discussion of crucial issues to make decisions. I believe that's a very important part of what you do.
Thank you. Most people would say that's not, but thank you. Thanks for pointing.
First, Budget Order 2024-03 General Fund. The General County Program requires an appropriation fund transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in transfers out of $319,645 and a decrease in contingency of $319,645. Budget Order 2024-04 General Fund, the Jail Division requires an appropriations transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in personnel services of $428,117 and a decrease in contingency of $428,117. Budget Order 2024-05 General Fund, Sheriff's Office Administrative Division requires an appropriation funding to appropriation transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in personnel services of $61,109 and a decrease in contingency of $61,109. Budget Order 2024-06 General Fund. The Sheriff's Office Criminal Division requires an appropriation to transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in personnel services of $422,819 and a decrease in contingency of $422,819. Budget Order 2024-08 General Fund General County Program requires an appropriation transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in transfers out of $637 and a decrease in contingency of $637. Budget Order 2024-09 General Fund Board of Commissioners Program requires an appropriation transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in materials and services of $200,000 and a decrease in contingency of $200,000. Budget Order 2024-16 Community Benefit Plan, the Local Improvement Distribution Program, requires an appropriation transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in transfers out of $420,000 and a decrease in contingency of $420,000. Budget Order 2024-20 General Fund General County Program requires an appropriations transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of a budget. This requires an increase in transfers out of $35,000 and a decrease in contingency of $35,000.
Budget Order 2024-21 County Fair. The County Fair program requires an appropriations transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in capital outlay of $20,000 and a decrease in contingency of $20,000. And the Blue Mountain Insurance Professional Sheriff's Program requires an appropriations transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in materials and services of $2,500 and a decrease in contingency of $2,500. Those are the appropriation transfers before you this morning.
Thank you very much.
Okay, with that, Mr. Chair, I'd move adoption of Budget Order 2024-03.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move approval of Budget Order 2024-04.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Move to approve Budget Item 2024-05.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Move to approve Budget Order 2024-06.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Move approval of Budget Order 2024-08.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move approval of Budget Order 2024-09.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Move approval of Budget Order 2024-16.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Move approval of Budget Order 2024-20.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Move approval of Budget Order 2024-21.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
And move approval of Budget Order 2024-22.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, Robert.
Thank you very much.
Should we come on that one? That was the last item on the agenda.
There's one other item.
We have that.
That's right.
One
The
left.
addition.
There's been, this item is requested to be added to the agenda. It's to approve a payment. As part of the Central Pipeline Project, it is necessary to obtain an easement from the Corps and Engineers to access the pipe that is currently in place. And the Corps is requesting that there be administrative fee paid for that easement. There won't be any additional costs for the use of it at this point, but they are requesting an administrative fee to process the request and application, and that amount is $73,500.
How much?
$73,500.
73,000?
It represents the time that they have put into the processing the application. That includes a review of, legal review, a review of the water rights, a cultural review, as well as anything else that they felt is necessary. And so what's before the board is to authorize the payment of the fee and execution of the agreement for the administrative fee.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of this payment of $73,500 to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
I'll second it. I do. Is this GF money or is this?
It will not be, no. It will be
Reimbursable.
reimbursed
It's reimbursed out of where?
Yes.
from the
From the what?
Project.
the funding sources for the project.
Okay.
There's a million questions I have on this
Oh
one, but
my
I'm not gonna
gosh,
ask
me
one.
too.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any comments? Too late.
Not,
I'm gonna go totally against what Robert.
no, I'm gonna say yes. Okay. Yes.
Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
There's a lot of smoke.
We made it.